Imagine this, a massive, sleek Navy blimp, its engines purring as it drifts above the foggy waters of San Francisco. It's a routine surveillance mission in the midst of World War II, until the unimaginable happens. The blimp drifts back toward land, but this time, something's different. The gondola door is wide open, the crew is gone. No sign of a struggle, no radio distress calls, just an eerie, abandoned blimp floating like a ghost. What happened to Lieutenant Ernest Cody and Ensign Charles Adams? Let's dive into the haunting mystery of the Ghost Blimp. It was August 16, 1942, and the US Navy had commissioned the L-8, a Goodyear L-class blimp, to patrol the California coastline in search of enemy submarines. On board were two men, Lieutenant Ernest DeWitt Cody, a 27-year-old Navy officer, and Ensign Charles Ellis Adams, 34. Their mission was to scan the waters for any signs of enemy activity, specifically the presence of Japanese submarines, which had been a growing threat during the war. The blimp lifted off from Treasure Island, San Francisco that morning and began its flight. Everything seemed normal at first, and the men reported spotting an oil slick, an indication that a submarine may have surfaced. Standard protocol would have them investigate the slick. They dropped flares to mark the spot and began their descent to get a closer look. But then, the blimp and its crew vanished from the radar. No distress signal, no sign of trouble. They were just gone. By mid-morning, the L-8 was seen again, this time drifting aimlessly above Ocean Beach. The blimp floated down, and local fishermen saw it coming toward the shore. They caught its mooring ropes, but something was wrong. The gondola door was wide open, and there was no sign of the crew. It was as if they had disappeared without a trace. The blimp eventually drifted again, scraping rooftops and trees before crash landing in a street in Daly City. But no bodies, no survivors, just an intact blimp with its engines still running and its radio operational. The crew gone. Authorities arrived at the scene only to discover that the parachutes, life jackets, and the life raft were all still on board, untouched. The radio had been working, but the crew had never sent a distress call. The only thing missing: 2 life jackets, one for each of the pilots. This created an eerie scenario. The blimp had been fully functional, with no signs of distress or attack, but the crew was nowhere to be found. Immediately, a large-scale search was launched. Navy personnel combed the coastline, the ocean, and the surrounding areas, but no trace of Lieutenant Cody or Ensign Adams was found. There were no bodies in the water, no wreckage, nothing. As the hours turned into days, wild theories began to surface. Some suggested that the crew had fallen overboard, accidentally swept into the ocean. Others speculated that the blimp had been captured by a Japanese submarine or that the crew had been kidnapped by enemy forces. But despite these ideas, there was no concrete evidence to support any of them. As the mystery deepened, the media began to call the incident the Ghost Blimp because of the eerie, unexplained disappearance. Several theories were floated, including the possibility that the crew had somehow jumped out of the blimp, but the parachutes were never deployed. Another idea was that the blimp had somehow been sabotaged, with the crew killed in some sort of covert operation. However, no clear evidence of any sabotage was ever found. The most plausible theory, as suggested by the Navy, was that one of the crew members had fallen out of the gondola while attempting to deploy a flare or check something. The other man, in a desperate attempt to rescue him, fell as well. The blimp, now lighter without its crew, would have ascended and drifted aimlessly. Yet, this theory doesn't explain why no distress call was made. It doesn't account for the open door, the untouched life-saving equipment, or the absence of a final communication from the crew. The theories have emerged in the decades since. Some speculate that the blimp was testing new radar technology and the crew may have been incapacitated by a malfunction. Others suggest espionage, with some believing that the men may have been spies or were involved in a secret mission that went horribly wrong. But without any definitive evidence, these theories remain just that: speculation. In the years following the incident, the L-8 was eventually repaired and returned to service. It was renamed the America and later became part of the Goodyear blimp fleet. Yet despite its survival, the fate of the two men remains a chilling, unanswered question. Lieutenant Cody and Ensign Adams were declared lost at sea, but with no bodies and no closure, their disappearance remains one of the most perplexing mysteries of the 20th century. Today, the Ghost Blimp is a forgotten chapter in World War II history, overshadowed by more famous battles and events. But its mystery still haunts those who study the unexplained. What happened to Cody and Adams? Did they fall to their deaths? Or were they victims of something far more sinister? Or is it possible that the truth is even stranger than we can imagine? Let us know in the comments. Do you think the Ghost Blimp incident is a real unsolved mystery, or just a strange twist of fate that remains unexplained? If you found this video intriguing, make sure to like, comment and subscribe for more mysteries from around the world. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos.